What's up guys, it's Ashley and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be pretty chill. I feel like I say that in a lot of my videos, but today I really wanted to sit down, play in makeup, and show you guys how to get a quick and easy, effortless look on those days where you want to look put together, but you really don't want to take that much time on your makeup. So that's exactly what I'm going to do today. I'm going to be pulling from like my everyday makeup drawer, which reminds me, do you guys want to see a video on my everyday makeup drawer? I've started pulling a bunch of products that I either haven't used in a while or just products that I want to use like on repeat, because sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, I get in the habit of putting things away and then they get tucked in the back of my makeup drawer and I never get around to using them. So I pulled a bunch of stuff, I got some bins, and I put like my everyday makeup products in there. So if you guys want to see what I have in those bins, let me know down below in the comments, because I will be happy to film that for you guys. But if you guys are into this video, don't forget to subscribe. Also, while you're at it, give it a big old like so that way I know and I can film more videos just like this. With that, let's go ahead and get into the video. So let's go. Now that I have you guys zoomed in, we can start talking about what I'm going to do today. Now, the only thing I have done are my brows. I actually use brow powder today. I use this little duo right here by Anastasia in medium brown. I actually haven't used one of these in a really long time. It has a light color and a dark color, and I really love the way it turned out. I also used an Anastasia brush, and this is the number 14. I love how stiff it is. I feel like I'm really able to get the powder in, and it kind of gives me more of like a natural effect, and then I just brush them upwards. Besides that, I have lip balm on, and I did use a new lip balm by Milani. This is the Rose Balm. It feels really, really nice on my lips. Is it super hydrating? No, but so far I have no complaints. I'm now going to jump into primer. I'm going to use this right here by Bobbi Brown. This is the Vitamin Enriched Face Base. I actually really love this, and I don't get around to using it much like on my channel just because it is fairly expensive, and I know how you guys feel about that, but it is something I do use all the time when I'm actually doing my makeup off camera. So I wanted to mention that because this is a part of like my everyday makeup routine when I'm not filming. When I'm filming, I do actually use more affordable products. Not to say that I don't in my day-to-day life, but I do love to use more affordable options because I want to show you guys that you don't have to break the bank to feel and look good. There are really, really great affordable options out there on the market. And that's kind of how I've built my brand and built my channel, and you guys really love it. So not to say I'm never going to experiment with higher end makeup products or anything like that. Of course I will. I just do like to put more of an emphasis on that because I feel like on the internet, people really force you to believe that you have to spend a shit ton of cash to look good, and that's definitely not true. But anyways, I love the way this feels on my face. I feel like it hydrates my skin like no other. And the reason I did go in with that first is because I actually did not put on a moisturizer today. I just did my chemical exfoliant and then sat down to film this video. So I really wanted to add moisture back into my skin because that's super, super important when putting on makeup. I am going to take an extra step and go in with some sunscreen. You guys know I love this one right here by Elta MD. I'm almost out of it, but luckily I've already ordered a backup from Amazon, so no worries. I'm just using whatever's left in the tube. And what I like to do is I like to put a good amount of this all over my face, and I'll also take it down my neck because sunscreen is going to protect your skin from the UVA and UVB. Well, at least this one does. This one is a mineral sunscreen, so it does protect your skin from the UVA and UVB rays, which is awesome. I did also want to give you guys some insight on the sunscreen. The one I use is a tinted sunscreen, but I do also know that they offer it in clear. I've never tried the clear one, so I can't speak on it, but if you are of a deeper skin tone and you can't really pull off that tinted moisturizer or tinted sunscreen, sorry, I'm calling it a moisturizer. If you can't pull off the tinted sunscreen, definitely check out the one in clear because that may work a lot better for you. Now, because I live in Florida, I definitely want to kind of mattify my T-zone area, because while I like to look dewy and glowy and luminous, I don't like to look oily in my T-zone. So I'm actually going to try out this product right here. I did try it in a first impressions video and it just didn't go well. I think it's because I put it all over my face and I didn't love the way it looked. I also feel like I was using way too much of the product. So I definitely want to revisit this. This is the Too Faced Primed and Poreless Pore Banishing and Blurring Face Primer. On the back, it says it is a mattifying and skin smoothing formula. Again, I'm only gonna take this like right here in my T-zone. I'm not gonna put this all over my face. A little bit goes a very long way. I just have a pea-sized amount, and honestly that may even be a little bit too much. I'm gonna work it right here next to my nose and in the area where I have a little bit of texture, and as you can see, it really does a good job mattifying the skin. I'm gonna take it all over my nose and down the center. Don't apply too much of this because it can be a bad situation and we definitely don't want that. Also, if you hear little snores in the background, baby Luna is actually sleeping in my filming room because Bobito put down a sound blanket on the floor. So it kind of takes me back to the old times when I used to film in my apartment where we had carpet everywhere. She always used to sit next to me and sleep while I film my videos. And a part of me was like, okay, maybe you'll be able to hear her snores in the video, but like, I don't even care because like, I want her next to me, like always near, never far. Also, Luna's doing incredible. She's doing so much better. If you guys have been following me over on Instagram, you guys know she had back surgery back in August and she's doing a million times better. Like she's walking, she's happy, and I'm happy. Me and Bobito are happy. That was very traumatic for us. Like it was just such a process and it really took me back a little bit. Like it definitely distracted me from work and I was sad, but I'm really happy with how far she's come in her progress. So that's kind of why I want to keep her in here. So if you hear little snores, just don't even worry about that. But you can definitely see how well that primer like mattified my skin. Like in this area, I'm still very dewy and glowy, like all in this area, which is exactly what I want. Now I will be going in with a color corrector, but I forgot to pull it out. I forgot to put it in my everyday makeup drawer, and that's definitely an essential. So I'm just gonna go in with some foundation. You guys know I love this foundation right here by Hourglass. This is the Vanish Stick Foundation in the shade Nude. I'm gonna take a little bit, a little bit. This is actually a whole lot, but I love that this blends out so nicely and it gives me more of like a natural effect. I definitely need to go in with some color corrector though, so let me actually get up, grab that so I can at least put a little bit underneath my eyes because I definitely need it. For color corrector, I'm gonna use this one right here by LA Girl. This is the Pro Conceal High Definition Color Corrector in the shade Peach. I'm just gonna take a little bit underneath my eyes. You guys know how I feel about my dark circles. A lot of you say I don't really have them, but I feel like it makes a world of a difference whenever I'm doing my makeup. And I'm also gonna just try to get some in this area here, because this is something I normally do before I put on foundation, but hello, I kind of forgot, so don't judge me. Okay, so now that I have that color corrector laid down, I'm gonna go in with a brush. This is a Sephora Pro number 57, and I'm gonna use this to first buff and blend out that color corrector because that's an important step for me. I'm also gonna take some like right here in this area on the sides of my nose. And then I'm just gonna make sure that this blends very, very nicely underneath my eyes. Great, so now that I have that color corrector blended out, I'm just gonna take a little bit more of that Hourglass Vanish Stick Foundation, and I'm just gonna put it directly over top of those areas where I kind of blended it in with the color corrector. And then I'm gonna go in with my Total Face Sponge by e.l.f. You guys know how I feel about this sponge. I really, really love it. It's very affordable in the drugstore, and it's definitely one of my all-time favorite sponges. I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna start really blending out this foundation. You can use a brush, you can use a sponge. I definitely prefer more of a sponge whenever I use this foundation, but it blends out like a dream even if you were to use a brush, and it does not get streaky at all. Okay, so now that I have foundation on, I definitely want to go in with concealer. I will be using the e.l.f. Camo 16-Hour Concealer. This one here is in the shade Light Beige. A little bit of this stuff goes a very long way. I'm gonna take just a little bit right here underneath my eyes, and I'm first gonna start off with the under eye area, and then whatever is left on my sponge, I'm just gonna take it down my T-zone to further highlight. Since I'm not going to go in with like heavy eyeshadow or anything like that today, I'm probably going to take a little bit of this concealer onto my eyelids just to mute them out. This is really going to help out if you struggle with like veinage or discoloration or anything like that. I don't really struggle with too much of that, but I do like a really opaque and full coverage eye when I'm not wearing eyeshadow, because I don't want it to look discolored or have any just like visible skin peeking through. Like, if I'm gonna wear makeup, I'm gonna wear makeup. If that's not your vibe, if that's not something you're into, then this probably isn't the page for you. I'm just saying. I do try to tone my looks down from time to time, but one thing's for certain is I love a full coverage base. Like, I really do. I feel like if I'm gonna go light on anything, it's typically eyeshadow more so than my base makeup. I'm gonna take whatever is left on that sponge and I'm just gonna tap it down my T-zone and also on my chin. And if I feel like I need a little bit more of that concealer, what I'll do is I'll take a little bit on the back of my hand, and then I'll go in with my sponge, and then I'll really work up the concealer onto my sponge, just so that way I could easily like highlight in a really pretty diffused way. This way I can just add brightness exactly where I want it, and I don't have too much product on my face all at once. So I'm really liking the coverage of this. I think it looks really beautiful and just full on coverage. Definitely my style, definitely right up my alley. I'm now gonna go in with loose powder. Now the loose powder I have here is by Huda Beauty. This one is in the shade Pound Cake. I really love this loose powder. I did have it in Banana Bread, but it was way too dark for me, so I opted for Pound Cake, and it's working really well for me. I'm gonna look up, and I'm just going to set my under eye area with this powder. Then I'm gonna take my sponge, dip it back into that powder, and then I'm just lightly going to set my eyelids, because I did put concealer there, so I don't want them to get creasy or just look strange. I want it to match the rest of my face. I'm just gonna lightly press a little bit of that powder on top, and that's pretty much it for the Huda powder. I'm gonna move on to a different powder because I love going in with pressed powders whenever I'm wearing the Hourglass foundation. I feel like it's a must. If I don't set it down properly, then it'll kind of like slip and slide throughout the day. So I'm now gonna go in with some of the Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder. You guys know I've used this powder for years at this point. It's one of my absolute favorites. I've already hit pan on it, and I have a backup as well. That's how much I love it. But I like to take my sponge. By the way, my sponge is not sopping wet. It's damp. Well, it's not damp anymore because I've already used it to blend out my foundation. So, I mean, it has some moisture to it, but it's not sopping wet. So what I'll do is I'll take it and I'll swirl it into my powder, and then I'll just get to pressing it into my foundation for more of a full coverage effect. This is also going to lock that cream foundation down and in place. So another thing I really like to do is I'll take a brush, swirl it into my powder, and now that I'm zoomed out, I can actually tell that this looks super full coverage, whereas like my neck needs a little bit more color. So I'll take my face powder and I'll blend it down my neck. I know that this is a super extra step, definitely not something you have to do. You also have to keep in mind that my face looks super powdery right now, and that's because I have not set it down with any kind of setting spray. Whenever you go in with a setting spray, it's really going to melt your makeup down and give it more of like a skin-like appearance. So I'm just taking some of this face powder all alongside my chest area. I'm also gonna go in with bronzer. Now, there are a couple bronzers in my everyday makeup drawer that I really want to utilize this month, so I am going to be going in with this by NARS. This is a brand new product for NARS. This is the Paradise Found bronzing powder. It is so incredibly beautiful. Now, it did have a intense like gold overspray on it when I first got it, but I just dusted all of that off because realistically speaking, I can't use a bronzer with like full on gold reflex in it. So I'm gonna go with this brush, a number 59 Pro Powder brush by Sephora Collection. And I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna start bronzing up my skin just to add some definition and color to the overall look. This bronzer has a very, very light gold reflex in it, but it's not anything that's going to accentuate texture on the skin. So that's why I'm using it to bronze today. I definitely feel like this bronzer is more of a buildable bronzer, which is nice. So I'm taking my time and really building this up to my desired intensity. And I'm also gonna take some on my forehead as well. Sometimes I feel like I need a smaller brush for my forehead, so I'm gonna switch to this brush right here by Sigma. This is a large angled contour, it's F40. And I'm gonna just go in and use this to bronze around my forehead because the number 59 was just a little too big for me. I'm also going to take a little bit more of the bronzer on an M441, and I'm just going to add light definition alongside my nose. And when I say light, I mean light. Nothing too crazy. I really just want to give my nose just a teeny bit of definition. I'm also going to run this onto my eyelid. I will be applying a little bit of eyeshadow onto my lid, but nothing too crazy. At least that's what I'm telling myself. These videos tend to get out of control. I feel like it's so much harder to go in and try to do a very natural, effortless glam because it's very easy to pile on product. It's a lot harder to actually take minimal product and make it look very fresh, airy, and just effortless. I have such a hard time with that, but we'll work on it. Patience. It'll happen. I'll nail it one day. And you guys will hear all about it. Because I live in Florida, and only because I live in Florida, it's hot, it's humid, I'm gonna go in with a little bit of the All Nighter waterproof setting powder, and I'm just gonna dust a little bit of this onto my face. So forehead area, over my bronzer. Y'all already know we gotta make it waterproof. If you guys have tried this, let me know your thoughts. I actually really like it. The only downside to it is that if you go in with way too much all at once, I feel like it kind of really alters the color of your foundation. So you have to be a little careful. Don't go in with too much. I always like to take this and really concentrate the majority of it like right here in this area, especially when I'm using the Hourglass foundation. I think that's pretty good. Can you tell I'm obsessed with powder? I really am. I do want to move on though. I want to talk about blushes. Now, blushes are a new thing for me. I've been so obsessed with blush recently, but I've been really obsessed with these right here by Almay. These are the Healthy Hue blushes. I have two shades here, another one in the editing room, but I think today I'm gonna use this one. This one's called So Peachy, and it is so incredibly beautiful. I'm gonna take this onto my cheeks. I'm gonna use a different brush today. This is a number 79 Pro Contour. Go figure. And I'm really gonna focus a lot of it on the apples of my cheeks. So I'll just kind of smile, and then I'm gonna go in a big circular motion here to really just pile it on. Actually, you know what, that's not gonna work. I need another brush. I'm gonna use this one. This is a sheer powder by Smashbox. I'm gonna really layer this on. Okay, I love that. That's so pretty. It gives my cheeks such a beautiful peachy glow. And I love that these blushes are buildable. I also love that they give my cheeks a little bit of luminosity. So they add a very pretty healthy glow to the cheek. If you guys have not tried these, I highly, highly, highly encourage you guys to check them out. Let's go in with highlighter now. Now, I do have a hate-love relationship with highlighter. Don't judge me, but one highlighter trio that I've been loving is this one right here by Too Faced. This is called Turn Up the Light. It's the complexion enhancing highlighting palette in the shade medium. I love that you have 3 different finishes. I love the soft focus finish. I also love the glow finish, and if you're feeling really intense, you can go in with Dazzle, but I kind of stick to these 2 right over here. I'm gonna take some of soft focus, and I'm really gonna focus it right here on the apples of my cheeks, a little bit on top of the blush, and then I'm just gonna blend it upwards like this. And this just gives me such a natural effect as opposed to going in with a very beaming highlight. Sometimes I feel like it could be a little much for me personally. So I like to go in with soft focus on the apples of my cheeks because that doesn't really accentuate that much texture for me. Then I'll go in with the shade Glow, and I'll hit it right here. And this gives me a really pretty soft glow. Again, nothing too crazy. Everything still remains very natural looking, which is something I'm into. Whatever's left on my brush, I'll just run it onto my nose, bridge, forehead, and also my Cupid's bow. I'm actually loving the way that this is turning out, and I'm also sitting here wondering, can you hear Luna snoring? Like, let me know down below. You cannot be mad at her. She is such a cutie. She is such a sweetheart. Let's add in just a little something to the eyes. You can use whatever palette you have at home. For me personally, I'm gonna use this by Too Faced. I did kind of a comparison video between this and the Maybelline Nudes of New York palette. I felt like the Too Faced one performed a million times better, but if you are looking for something that is a little bit cheaper and gives you a similar color story, the Maybelline one is an awesome alternative. I'm gonna take a little bit of this shade right here. It's called Seashell, and I'm gonna run that all in my crease. I just wanna add light shadow to my eyelid. I don't want to go in and do a full-blown smoky eye. I really just want to add just something there, just so that way it looks like I tried a little bit harder than I did. I'm taking this on an M441, and I'm really going in, and I'm going in big circular motions. I'm gonna build this up maybe about twice, and that's pretty much it. Also, don't mind the fact that I still have eyelash glue on my eyes from yesterday. I was just way too lazy to pick it out. I'm also on the hunt for a new cleansing balm because I recently ran out of the one I was using. So I haven't picked that up yet, which is why I couldn't get all of my lash glue out. But it's okay. I'm also going to take kind of like a fluffy packing brush, and I'm going to pack that same shade, Seashell, and I'm going to just pat it onto my eyelid just so that way everything looks even. I'm also going to take that shade Seashell, and I'm going to smudge it onto my lower lash line just to connect everything together. So before I go in with my liner, mascara, and lashes, I am going to spray my face down with a little bit of setting spray. I'm trying to use this up by Farah Sali. I actually really like it. It got tucked away in the back of my makeup drawer, and I stopped using it, but I still have a little bit left, so I definitely want to use this up this month. This is the Rose Gold Skin Mist. It's a 24 karat gold infused hydrate, prime, and set spray. So we're going to give it a good old shake, and we're gonna spray this face. This is gonna melt down that powder and make it look a lot more skin-like, because there's no denying that I look hella powdery right now. So I'm gonna go in one more time and wait for that to set before we move on to the rest of the eyes. So now that I've given that time to set, I'm gonna move on to liquid eyeliner. Now, one thing I really like to do whenever I'm gonna go in with a very wispy pair of lashes is I will go in with a thin trace of liquid eyeliner. I'm gonna use this one right here by Anastasia. This is their felt tip liner. It's really good, and it's super matte and black. You guys know I live for a good all matte black eyeliner. So I'm going to go in and I'm gonna try to stay as close to my lash line as possible because I don't want this to be thick. I'm not trying trying to do an intense cat eye wing or anything like that. It's just a very, very thin trace of liner. Thin trace of liner is done. It was really, really difficult for me to hold a steady hand. Am I the only one who has issues with liner? Honestly, whenever I'm doing wing liner in my videos, just know it probably takes me 30 minutes longer to film that video when I do wing eyeliner, which is why I try not to do it often. But anyways, let's move on to false lashes. Now, the false lashes that are my go-to that I'll wear every single day are these right here by Salon Perfect. These are the wispy lashes, and these are so cute, so pretty. So these are the 614s, by the way. These are like my go-to lash whenever I want to wear something that's still pretty but natural. So I'm going to actually measure these to fit my eye because these are a brand new pair. And the reason I go in with a very, very thin trace of liner is because I feel like it really outlines my eye and it gives me a really, really nice shape, as opposed to when I don't do this at all. I feel like my eyes don't really have much shape to them. So that's why I like to add that thin trace of liner. I'm gonna measure these, and these need to be cut just a little bit, not too much. Luckily, I do have my handy dandy scissors next to me. You can tell that these need to be cut because they kind of hang right here. And if you put on a lash that doesn't quite fit your eye, it'll kind of make your eye look like it's drooping down, and that's not a vibe. That doesn't look cute on anybody. So I'm gonna cut only one link off of this lash. Then I'm just gonna go back and remeasure to make sure I have everything right, and that looks beautiful. So now that I know I only need to cut off one link, I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. I definitely recommend figuring out how many links you need to cut off of these lashes when you put them on yourself, because I feel like it's different for everyone. My go-to lash glue right now is by Lily Lashes, and I do like to use the dark adhesive, especially when I'm doing a look very similar to this, because I feel like it really meshes well with the black thin trace of liner. And I like for my glue to get tacky for maybe about 30 seconds before I go in and press them onto my eyes. Ooh, I love this. Like, my lashes, they look good, boo. They really do. I'm waiting for the glue to dry just like a little bit more. I'm also going to go in with a lash curler. This one right here is by Revlon. This is probably one of the best lash curlers I've ever used. I love that it's not like your typical lash curler. Actually, let me show you. I have one over here. I feel like when I wear false lashes, it's very hard to get my false lashes into something like this, whereas this one from Revlon is so easy. I can just kind of clamp my lashes in with the false lashes, and this really gives me that natural effect on those days where I wear a look very similar to this. Well, I'm gonna go in with some mascara. I'm going to use a mascara that has been in my collection for a little minute that I've been dying to use, and it is this one right here. It's called My Toy Boy. I know, a little vulgar, but it is by this brand right here, and I've been wanting to use this. This is such a huge mascara. I'm going to coat my lashes in with the false lashes with this. I'm just gonna do a little blend, and I'm only gonna take this at the base of my lash. I feel like I say that in a lot of my videos, but I always have to repeat myself because I feel like when you go in with mascara all the way through the tips, it never looks like as natural. I'm gonna go in with a little bit of bottom lash mascara. This is by MAC. This is the Extended Play Giga Black Lash Mascara, and I'm just gonna coat my lower lashes with a little bit of mascara. Another thing I really like to do when I do a look very similar to this is I'll take a black liner, literally any black eyeliner you have, and I'll just tightline with it just to make this look super intense in black, because otherwise it looks a little strange. I feel like I want to add like some smoke, some definition to this look. What do I do? Do I just keep it like this? I think I should definitely keep it like this. So I'm definitely gonna hold out, but one thing I'm for sure gonna do is I'm gonna go in with a black eyeshadow. I'm just using one of the Fenty Snap Shadows, which reminds me, I really wanna use this in an Instagram TV video. I'm gonna take a flat definer brush, picking up a little bit of that black. I'm going to just smudge out this liner, especially towards the end. I feel like it's coming off a little stark and harsh. So I want to just re-soften it with a little bit of shadow, especially like the edges, you know. Ooh, okay, that's looking so much better. It was bothering me. I was like, oh my god, what do I do? So the last and final thing I have left to do for this look in particular is go in with some brow gel. I'm gonna use this one right here by Urban Decay. This is the Brow Finish in Ozone. And I just like to go in with any brow gel. Honestly, does not matter which one. And I'll brush my brow hairs upwards just to make them look a little bit more full and fluffy. Like, I'm really into a fluffy brow at the moment. So I'm just brushing it upwards, and now I'm gonna go in with a lip liner. Now I have a couple lip products here. I'm not sure what I want to do. I feel like I've been really stuck on the same brown lip combo recently, so I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna use this by LA Girl. This here is the Precision lip liner in the shade Cafe. It's one of my favorites, and I'm going to just line my lips with this completely, just a little bit. I'm not gonna go too ham with it. I just want a little bit of definition, but I do need to wipe some of this off because I still have that lip balm on there. And now I'm gonna go in and just line. Now for lipstick, I'm gonna use this one right here by It Cosmetics. It's one I've been wanting to use for a minute now, and I finally put it up on my drawer to actually use. And this one's super pretty. It's called Vision, and it's in the cream formula. This actually gives me more of like a minty feel to it, which I'm not mad at, and I really love the color. I'm really glad I decided to pull this out and use it. Last but not least, I'm going to top it off with a gloss. This is a brand new gloss that just launched in NARS's bronzer collection. This one is called Reef. It's actually a oil infused lip tint, but I'm going to put a little bit right here in the center for a little shine. And to finish things off, I'm gonna go in with a little bit more of my Farah Salih spray, and we're done. And that's pretty much it, Slaybaes. This wraps up my rendition of like my everyday effortless glam when I want to look put together, but I don't want to spend a ton of time on my makeup. While I know the tutorial version of this video was pretty long, I could probably do this in 25 minutes if I'm not like talking and going through each product that I'm using. So I hope you guys really loved today's video. If you guys want me to go through my everyday makeup drawer of products that I currently have on rotation, products I'm super excited to use that are new, and products that I pulled out from the back of my makeup drawer, let me know, because that's definitely a video I really want to film for you guys. It's a mixture between high-end and drugstore products, and to be honest, I'm always using a ton of drugstore makeup on my channel that sometimes I really want to experiment more with high-end makeup to see what's the rave all about, is it worth the hype, and things like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you liked it, make sure you stop what you're doing and press that like button. Likes really help me out on my channel. Also subscribe if you haven't already, and click that bell so that way YouTube will notify you whenever I upload. I don't think I have much else to say except I love you guys so much, and until next time, I'll be sure to catch you guys all on the next one. Deuces. Say bye-bye, baby loon. You were snoring the whole video. You sleepy? She's sleepy. She was snoring the whole video. Hopefully you guys don't mind. I'm gonna put her down now. Gotta blast.